Okay, so let's get on with our program. So what we're going to do now is recognize each of our 6 Alumni Award winners this year, and we'll have somebody come up to make a kind of a special introduction of each person. Everybody will have a few moments to say a few words, and then we're just going to have fun recognizing everybody that's here today. So first up, we want to start by recognizing our outstanding Young Alumni Award winner. And just let me talk a little bit about that award. So the Outstanding Young Alumni Award recognizes a College of Veterinary Medicine alumnus who has excelled in the veterinary profession and provided service to their community somewhere within the last 10 years after they graduated. So I would like to, I don't know if there's any previous winners of the Young Alumni Award. Is there anybody here? I'm pointing somewhere. Oh, sorry, Molly, please stand up. Sorry, my apologies. So recognition for Molly. So to introduce this year's award winner, I'd like to invite to the podium Dr. Tracy Lindquist from the Humboldt Veterinary Clinic. Tracy is a proud alumni, class of 2012. Did I get that right? Awesome. So Tracy, come on up. So round of applause for Tracy.
For hosting this ceremony and today's awardees. It is my honor to nominate Dr. Aubrey Corday for the ISU CVM Outstanding Young Alumni Award. And it's great to be back in Ames sharing my nomination with all of you. Please take time this morning to read Dr. Aubrey's bio in your ceremony booklet and learn more about her accomplishments in veterinary medicine and her contributions to our community, as I know I won't do them justice. In just a few short years, Dr. Corday built a practice in north central Iowa offering an extensive array of services, all of which can be contributed to her exceptional leadership and commitment to innovation. I am proud to call Dr. Aubrey a colleague in my profession, and I'm extremely proud of the impact she has on my community. Recently, an associate and I were having a break room discussion about Ketsaki Gata, the Japanese concept that blood types shape a person's personality. We learned that our blood type, type O, lacks attention to detail and struggles to be punctual. This was not a surprise, but we were eager to inform Dr. Aubrey that we would be frequently strolling into the clinic late. Our blood type makes us do it. Okay, boss, we said, what's your blood type? She said type A. Here's her Ketsaki Gata description. A blood type personalities are considered perfectionistic, responsible, reliable, trustworthy. They are careful decision makers, very organized. They keep everything neat and in the right place. They might plan everything, and every task they engage in is carried out with a lot of consistency and seriousness. So maybe our blood types do match our personalities. Dr. Aubrey is our clinic's fearless leader who keeps our ducks in a row as the organizer of our chaos. As any truly great leader, she manages even us poor attention to detail, type O's with gentle guidance, while respecting our individuality as we work as a team. And this is exactly why she is well deserving of today's recognition of the Outstanding Young Alumni Award. Congratulations, Dr. Aubrey, on your award. Please come forward to say a few words.
All right, so first of all, thank you so much. And before I say anything else, please just let me say that I'm humbled and I'm honored and I'm just beside myself that I get to even stand up here in front of some of the most prestigious colleagues, organization leaders, business owners, and faculty that there are in our industry. 10 years ago, would I have ever envisioned myself where I am today, let alone being up here? First and foremost, I wouldn't be where I am without the support of my family. My husband, kids, and parents have been unwavering in their support of whatever adventure or goal that I set my mind to. To my husband, Kevin, thank you for pushing me out of my comfort zone and believing in me when I may not have believed in myself. You are my rock that I know I can always count on. To my kids, thank you for your love. I strive to be the best mom that I can be each and every day. You make me a better person. To my parents, thank you for providing me a solid foundation to fall back on, offering a listening ear or word of encouragement, and always being my biggest cheerleaders. I also wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for our amazing Humboldt Veterinary Clinic team. Our veterinarians, our receptionists, our veterinary technicians, our kennel attendants, they all stand before me. I say that with intention because they, although not all physically present here today, they never stand behind me. They stand before me. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. To Dr. Tracy Lindquist, thank you for honoring me with the nomination of this award. I am thankful that you are a leader at our HVC clinic, and I couldn't ask for a better colleague or friend that brightens any room that she walks into. Your energy is contagious. To Dr. Jim Illig and Marcy Illig, who gave me my first official start as a DVM. Thank you for providing me mentorship, especially in those first few years, but still today. Thank you for being an empathetic boss and then turning the reins over to me for the Humboldt Vet Clinic to forge forward with my ideas and aspirations. Thank you for taking a chance on me. I also wouldn't be able to be where I am if it weren't for the Iowa State University College of Veterinary Medicine and the education, the strength, the skill, and the friendships that I received from being here. To Dr. John Thompson and Kay Thompson. In my opinion, Dr. Thompson, you were the absolute best vet school advisor anyone could ever ask for, and I am so lucky to have been part of your last class of advisee students. Thanks to both you and Kay for your expertise, support, guidance, and advice. I have always valued any conversation we have had and cherished our relationship that we have developed over the years. You both mean so much to me. To Dean Grooms, thank you for your commitment to our industry. The phone call regarding this award meant a lot to me. Time is a valuable commodity, and knowing that you took time out of your busy day to call me in lieu of a letter or an email made it that much more special. You are an inspirational leader, and Iowa State University's College of Veterinary Medicine is lucky to have you as our guiding force. Not a day goes by that I am not grateful for all of these people. My full intention is that this outstanding Young Alumni Award is not to be taken for granted. I want you to know that my intention is to elevate this industry one professional at a time and elevate the experience we provide to our patients one patient at a time. That is my full commitment and my full intention, and I hope to see more of this and more of all of you in the years to come and in the future. Lastly, if I'm being fully vulnerable here, receiving is something I'm working on, and I want to close by saying I fully receive this award. I'm very humbled, and I stand in gratitude today before you. Thank you again to everybody who believed in me and letting me borrow your belief until I found my own. I am honored that I earned this award, and I acknowledge that I'm worthy of it. Thank you again, everybody.
This is something special for us, Dr. Bell. Thanks, Aubrey. And I just have to share with you that myself and my executive assistant, Lisa Sebring, and a couple students went up and visited the clinic this summer. And I'm just going to tell each and every one of you here, one word, wow, okay? Just wow, okay? So if you ever get a chance, you're driving through Humboldt, stop in and see the clinic, see what they're doing there, and you'll just be... It's given to an individual who received a master's or a PhD from the College of Veterinary Medicine. The award honors individuals who have demonstrated outstanding achievement or leadership in making significant, influential, or innovative contributions to our industry. Could I ask that any previous Hoffman Award winners please rise if they're here? Do we have anybody here looking around? So I think we've only had 2 previous winners, so they're kind of few and far between. So I do also want to recognize Lorraine Hoffman. I know Lorraine is here, who the award is named after. Thank you, Lorraine, and thanks for all that you do for the College of Veterinary Medicine in Iowa State. Round of applause for Lorraine. So with that, I would like to invite Dr. Roger Main, the director of the Veterinary Diagnostic Lab at Iowa State University, to come forward and introduce our award winner. Roger?
Good afternoon. It's certainly an honor for me to have the opportunity to introduce the recipient, Dr. Howard Hill, for this Lorraine J. Hoffman Graduate Alumni Award. I've had the good fortune of knowing Howard from about this time of year in 1991, when I, as a small town farm kid from West Central Illinois, showed up outside of Howard's office door at the diagnostic lab looking for a job, simply to become an Iowan. And Howard provided me the opportunity for full-time work at the diagnostic lab and then at a small research farm outside of town. And I've been fortunate to have the opportunity to work with Howard and work with him or for him in a variety of different capacities ever since that fall of 1991. Howard has been a tremendous mentor and even a better friend. So now a little bit about Howard. Howard grew up in Southern California and then moved to Northern California to pursue his undergraduate and veterinary studies at the University of California, Davis. Moving north and going to Davis, he met a lovely young woman named Nancy, who is from Northern California, and then brought her back to Southern California for a year of practice. And I can assure you that I'm guessing that Nancy had no idea what was going to be in store about moving to the Central Plains or to the plains of central Iowa in 1970, where Howard was then pursuing a postdoctoral fellowship, an NIH fellowship, to study rabies at the College of Veterinary Medicine here in Ames, Iowa. And Howard went on to earn his MS in 1972 and then PhD in 74. Left a very successful career at the Veterinary Diagnostic Lab to pursue a leadership position at Murphy Family Farms, which was a family-owned pork production operation that was centered in southeast North Carolina that was just in the process of opening some offices in Ames, and we're just beginning the expansion to their operations into the Midwest that ultimately became the largest family-owned pork production operation in the world prior to being acquired by Smithfield Foods. And then in 2000, Howard decided he wanted to stay a little closer to home and joined Iowa Select Farms out of Iowa Falls, Iowa, to serve as their director of production. And then in just the very next year was promoted to be the chief operating officer, and then served in a number of senior leadership positions with that organization over the course of the next 13 years prior to stepping back to serve in an advisory role in 2013, and that is a role that he continues to serve to this day. Howard has been extraordinarily generous with his time in provision of service and leadership to the American Association of Swine Veterinarians, to the Iowa Pork Producer Association, and to the National Pork Producers Council, as well as to a myriad of other state, national, and international animal health organizations over the course of the past 50 years. I personally know of no one who has been more giving of his time and his talents as a veterinary professional to the continued betterment of the Iowa and U.S. pork industry than Howard Hill. Howard's receipt of this Lorraine J. Hoffman Graduate Alumni Award today will add to a number of very well-deserved recognitions that he has received from this College of Veterinary Medicine, the Iowa State College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, the University of California, Davis College of Veterinary Medicine, as well as the American Association of Swine Veterinarians. In addition to all these professional achievements, Howard's heart and true passion resides with his family and his family's farming operation. Howard and Nancy have 3 adult children, Allison, Jared, and Eric, and have been blessed with 11 grandchildren. Howard's current primary source of current occupational engagement, and Howard isn't a guy that's going to retire, I can tell you that. He just keeps going strong. But his current source of primary occupation is working in partnership and in support with his son Eric on their row crop, swine, and purebred Angus cattle farming operation located here in central Iowa. So please join me in helping congratulate Howard on the receipt of this prestigious award. Howard.
Thank you, Roger. Could I have a copy of that? Well, thank you very much. I'm going to put my glasses on. When Tracy sent me the information about that, she said the email said I had 4 to 15 minutes to talk. That was before I put my glasses on and figured out it was 4 to 5 minutes. Sorry, Tracy. Well, it's a real honor to receive this recognition, particularly this award, because it recognizes Dr. Lorraine Hoffman, who I had the pleasure to work with for 20 years in the diagnostic lab. You've already heard a little bit about the award from Dean Grooms, but in my opinion, that award recognized the passion that Lorraine had for the science, the dedication to veterinary diagnostics, and probably the thing that touches me the most is her passion for people, and particularly for all the students, hundreds of students, that she mentored and counseled during her tenure at Iowa State. And I mentioned that to her the other day, and I know she's going to get mad at me for saying this, but she said, and we office right next to each other, and I said, yeah, I saw kids going to your office very dejected, some of them crying, and they came out with a smile on their face. And she said, yeah, what you didn't know was I closed the door afterwards, because a lot of times I was crying. So, so that just shows her heart for people. I'd like to recognize a few individuals that were really impactful in my career. Dr. Vaughn Seaton, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but he was the director of the diagnostic lab during my stay there. And Dr. Seaton hired me as a brand new graduate, hadn't even graduated with my PhD, kind of sight unseen, and he's been a mentor of mine ever since. So we just, the girls here, wave girls, these are all girls from the diagnostic lab. Nancy, you can wave too, you know. They keep real close contact with Dr. Seaton along with Dr. Hoffman, and we just celebrated his 94th birthday a couple weeks ago. Also, during my time with the National Pork Producers Council, Neil Dirks was a real mentor of mine, and I want to acknowledge him. And with the Iowa Pork Producers, Rich Degner, who was the CEO, and then following him was Pat McGonigal, both very helpful for me in my career. Of course, the support of my family is undeniable. I'd like to introduce them quickly. My wife, Nancy, 54 years, putting up with me. I know, you guys are laughing, you know. 40 years, very successful teaching career. My daughter, Allison, and her husband, Joe, and they're both involved in, their family's involved in agriculture with cattle and hogs. And my son, Eric, and his wife, Shan. And Eric is the operator of our diverse farming operation. And then we have a son and daughter-in-law with 4 kids in Washington, D.C. area. And they're also involved in agriculture. He works with Bunge, which is a international grain processor. So we have, as Roger said, we have 11 grandchildren. Our oldest grandchild is a junior in ag business at Iowa State. And her brother, Allison's and Joe's son, I think he's going to go to Iowa State next year. And so I think a lot of our grandchildren are going to go to Iowa State. And you might say, well, that's probably because, you know, you were at Iowa State, and I said, that might not be the case. I think it's probably more the case that I've told them their 529 accounts are only good at Iowa State. and so far they're believing me, so. I want to mention a couple things about the College of Agriculture. They also have excelled by establishing a food animal medicine program that is recognized locally, nationally, and internationally. When I go to meetings any place in the world, they know about the Veterinary Diagnostic Lab at Iowa State University. In my opinion, the Department of Veterinary Diagnostics and Production Medicine, which is chaired by Dr. Pat Halber, has no equal in their teaching, both graduate and undergraduate, and their research. McKean Swine Disease Conference is ongoing at the Sheeman Center. And yesterday, Dr. Jeff Kaizen, the state veterinarian, was giving us an update on high-path AI, which is a very serious disease, as most of you know. And he said Sunday he got a phone call early in the morning, and he and his son were out working cattle, and the person described an outbreak in a large poultry operation, egg-laying operation, and they had 1,000 deaths. 2 o'clock that afternoon, they had a confirmed diagnosis. And you might say, well, why is it so important to get that so quick? If you remember back in 15, we had an outbreak, and we had a lot of transmission from flocks to flocks. But by getting a fast diagnosis and getting rapid disposal of those animals, we did not create that big burst of virus that infects other herds. So my applause to the staff and the faculty of the diagnostic lab. This is just one example. Do a fantastic job. When I left the diagnostic lab in 1994, I think we had about 50 employees. Today, I think there's 175, and they're busting at the seams. So obviously, they need more space, all kinds of technology that we didn't have back then. We did have Petri dishes and Bunsen burners, but and so many of you know about phase one. When you drive by, I told Dean Grooms this morning, I said, it looks like you could walk right in and go to work. Well, the outside's done, but the inside's not. But Roger and Pat and the Dean all guarantee that it's going to be done by the fall of 2023. And it was the work of several people, several organizations, but I want to recognize Dean Thompson. Where is Dean Thompson? John Thompson? Yeah. Dr. Grooms, Pat Halber, Roger Main. The support from the university was tremendous, or is tremendous. President Wendy Winterstein and the Iowa legislature and our commodity groups and a lot of individuals have pitched in to make this a reality. And I have confidence that this team is going to be able to get the funds to build the second phase, and we will have a world-class faculty, staff, and facilities that we can all be very, very proud of. Thank you very much for this honor, and go Cyclones.
Thank you, Howard. So every time I see you from now on, it's going to be a hug, dude. That's all there is to it. So be ready. All right. Okay. Let me get back to where I need to be. Okay. Next up, we are going to recognize the recipient of the Schweitzer Award. So the William Schweitzer Award was created in 1998 to recognize individual achievements. These individuals will also have an association with the college that has made a positive impact for teaching, research, or service. So I'd like to ask that any previous winners of the Schweitzer Award please stand, and I know there's several in the crowd, so please stand. Talbots, Lorraine Hoffman, I thought there was some other, oh, Dr. Ross, thank you very much. Congrats. With that, I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Anna Forseth, who is currently the National Pork Producer Council Director of Animal Health. So, Anna.
I am much shorter than Dean Grooms, so good afternoon, and thank you, Dr. Grooms. I am honored to be here introducing Dr. Liz Wegstrom. I have known Liz for several years, many of them as an aspiring swine veterinarian trying to decide exactly where my place would be in the industry. Little did I know that I would eventually have the opportunity to work with her at NPPC. I'm not sure how to describe the respect and appreciation that I have for her, and know many more people feel the same. I am thankful that I continue to learn from her every day, not only the knowledge and experience she shares with me, but her kindness, her support of me as a young working mom, her incredible, confident communication style, and her leadership within our industry, within state and federal governments, and her leadership. Liz has such a passion for swine health, yet an uncanny ability to be flexible, which is absolutely required in the policy space, but not necessarily a common trait of the typical type A personality veterinarian. Liz spent her career bringing science-based but common sense approaches to regulatory action about big shoes. I wouldn't do this introduction justice if I did not mention that these are the successes of a person who has work-life balance figured out. When she is not defending or advocating for the U.S. swine industry, she travels the world photographing the most beautiful sea life while scuba diving, and works her tail off to prepare for and win a world championship ranch riding competition with her stunning quarter horses. What a lady, what a life, what a legacy, and what a role model for someone like me. Thank you, Liz, for your support, your knowledge, and your encouragement. You have made such an impact on our swine industry, but you have also made such an impact on me. If you would, please join me in congratulating Dr. Wegstrom on this well-deserved recognition.
Yeah, right. I wasn't going to cry. Thanks, Anna. Thank you all. I really am appreciative of being able to be here. I think there's a saying that says good things happen when you surround yourself with good people. In this, recognized my husband. Freshman year of vet school, I started veterinary school. The year my son started high school, I drove 175 miles down the road and said, see you guys next weekend. And the kids stayed home with Brian, and we have amazing children, largely because of the influence he had on them. So thank you. He also let me go do other stuff, like move to Washington, D.C., and move to Des Moines, and be an absentee person. But we made it home probably 50 out of 52 weekends. We really made a commitment that we would see each other. So starting with the good people you surround yourself with, and how I made it to Iowa State. Working with Wayne Fries and Wendell Davis at a little place called Oxford Laboratories really gave me a passion for pigs. And I started deciding I was on the wrong side of the counter when you went into a veterinary clinic, and I'm on the outside and there's the veterinarians on the inside, and I was like, I can do this, I want to do it. So I threw together an application in September when they were due in October, said, this is practice, I won't get in. And I think somebody named Wayne Fries might have made a call and said, you ought to take a look at this woman's application, and by golly, I got in. It's like we had to make a decision, was I going to move to Ames? And it was just a perfect time for me, because it was the year that they had the rural and general practice option. And it was a practice-based, problem-based option. Dr. Roth was very interested in it, very involved in it, and it really fit my style. But also, as I came to Iowa State, we had Dr. Howard Hill on one of our advisory committees, and talked to Howard. I said, I'm going to move to Ames. Do you know of any place I should look at living? He's like, I have a deal for you. I've got a duplex, and I'll rent you half the duplex. The other half of the duplex has this wild guy named Roger Main, who lives in the other half of it. And so Howard got me into the duplex. He's been a very big supporter of my career. He got me, I think, really involved in trying to apply and decide to go to NPPC when I had left the pork board and been at the University of Minnesota. But probably the best thing that Howard Hill did for me is to introduce me to Jeff Zimmerman. Howard said, if you want to be somebody in the pig industry, hook your cart to Jeff Zimmerman's Star. And Jeff was more than a major professor. He was a mentor, a friend. He's challenged my way of thinking, and he continues to be somebody I pick up the phone and say, you know, am I thinking about this the right way? And he always has words of wisdom. So Jeff, thank you so much. And I see right behind Jeff, Dean Ross, very much made concessions and arrangements for me to do a joint master's and get my DVM. I'd go in there every semester and say, you need to sign this because I'm going to take 27 credits. He'd say, well, if you can't keep up your grade point average, I won't sign it. But next semester I'd come back in and I'd have my grade point average and he'd sign it again. And so thank you so much to Iowa State for being flexible, for letting me do what I needed to do to get both. The problem-based learning, not only did we have Dr. Roth, I have my study buddy, Justin Greenlee in the back. Justin and I were the odd couple of the class as far as how we studied. But it was a great balance, and also consider Justin very helpful in getting me through vet school. I look at the other award winners here. Not only was Howard very impactful, Dr. Roth, who has been coming up next, we laughed. I said my first year, he's teaching freshmen immunology, and I waved my hand on about the first day of school. I'm a front row sitter because I'm 40, and I know all these kids behind me have been in school full time. They're going to be gung-ho. I need to sit in the front row and do good. And I said, well, what about this IP vaccination of pigs? Do I get cellular or humoral antibody response from that? And he says to me, what planet are you from? And then I said, well, I learned immunology from Wayne Freeze. And he said, that explains it. But since then, I mean, not only was Jim so impactful on the rural and general practice option students, but we have worked professionally together as we've advocated for a foot and mouth disease vaccine bank in the Farm Bill. He is somebody I call when I say, you know, if we're going to look at foreign animal disease outbreaks, we're thinking of this, we're thinking of that. Jim is an amazing resource, and we have worked side by side as colleagues, and it's been a very big help to my success. And then Amy Baker. Amy was a few years behind me in school, but we worked for Brad and Eileen Thacker as grad students. And so we used to draw pictures of lungs with an influenza and mycoplasma and all that sort of stuff, not knowing that in 2008, when influenza pandemic started, that Amy would be one of the biggest resources I had. So Amy with Marie Culhane, who is sitting there, are my flu gurus. They have been so kind to introduce me to people in the flu community that really could help, because as you remember, swine flu was not a kind time for the pork industry. It was probably a misnomer of a name, but it was something that every one of the pork producers that I worked with, every time a news anchor would say swine influenza, we'd get calls saying, can't you get them to change what they're saying? They got to call it H1N1. And we worked really hard. We established relationships with CDC. I spent a lot of time down there during the pandemic. Got CDC to say H1N1, not always the news people. But Amy has continued to be a resource and has been a good friend. So thank you for your help through all of this. And thank you to probably the people who have given me the most is the pork producers of the United States and of Iowa. I have been so privileged to work for an industry for which I feel passion that's let me use my lack of clinical skills, but the thought process and the education and the whole passion for learning and expanding your knowledge base that I learned at Iowa State has really served me well as an advocate. So I can go into a legislator's office or a regulator's office, and I have learned to say, I don't know, but I can find out. and I know where to find out, I know how to find out. I can follow up with a cogent argument that says, this is why this is important to you. And then learning to take that from science speak to layperson speak has been something that has been difficult for me to learn, but has been very valuable for me. So all of that thought process, the communication skills, may not be what you first think of when you think of a veterinary school education, but it's what I learned here. It is what Iowa State gave me, as well as just a very good veterinary education. So thank you very much. I'm extremely honored to get this award. I will forever be grateful to Iowa State for everything they have given to me.
Thank you, Dr. Wagstrom. Next, we would like to recognize recipients of our Stang Award. So the Stang Award for Meritorious Service in Veterinary Medicine is the highest award given by the College of Veterinary Medicine. It is presented to distinguished veterinary alumni in the Iowa State's College of Veterinary Medicine. This year we have 3 award winners, and to start off with, I would like to invite Dr. Shijing Zhang to come forward. Dr. Zhang is the Roger and Marilyn Marr Chair in One Health. Dr. Zhang.
Thank you, Dr. Grooms. Good afternoon. I think Dr. Grooms chose the wrong person to introduce Amy Baker. I think we should let Liz do that, right? She knows Amy so well. I have known Amy since 2003. When I came back as faculty member, she was still in graduate school with Dr. Arlene Thacker. We share a couple of things in common. First, we all graduated from immunobiology, but I did that 10 years earlier than she did. And also the partial overlap. You know, I worked with Dr. Ross on mycoplasma, and Amy worked with Arlene Thacker and Dr. Ross on mycoplasma. So always this connection. So anyway, later on, we work on different things, although we're not in the same discipline, but I'm well aware of Dr. Amy Baker's accomplishment and impact. So I prepared 10 pages introduction because she has so many good things to say. Then Tracy emailed us a couple of days ago, we won't get a couple of minutes. So I will keep my introduction short and sweet, okay? Dr. Amy Baker is distinguished and accomplished virologist. She's known for many contributions, but perhaps is best known for her pioneering work in influenza A virus. Her cutting-edge research discovered unique and emerging flu variants, revealed vaccine-associated enhancement in pneumonia, and developed antigenic cartography of swine and human influenza viruses. Her groundbreaking work is not only instrumental for understanding viral evolution, predicting outbreaks, and conducting disease surveillance, but is also important for developing and optimizing vaccines. Dr. Baker's research truly embraces a One Health approach and has contributed significantly to improving animal and public health. As a testimony to her many accomplishments, Dr. Baker has received numerous awards, including her election into the National Academy of Medicine in 2020, one of the highest honors given to scientists and health professionals. Dr. Baker is a dedicated veterinarian and a problem solver. She knows what's happening in the field and aligns her research on real-world problems that matters to the swine industry. Dr. Baker has provided exemplary service and leadership and is a trust expert and is well respected by people in the industry. Dr. Baker is also a caring and inspiring mentor. She has helped and supported countless people for their career opportunities and for their career success. As one of her colleagues stated, this is exactly they told me, I just quoted, although Dr. Baker has established herself as a prolific and accomplished researcher, it is the positive influence she has had on her students, colleagues, and fellow scientists that will be long remembered and much appreciated. Dr. Baker is truly a role model for people working with her and also collaborate with her. So with that said, I would say Dr. Baker has had a distinguished career, and we are very happy for her receiving this honor, STAN award. Please join me, congratulations to Dr. Baker, and invite her to come to the podium for a few words.
So I frequently give talks with my job, and I usually just kind of wing it, but I did prepare notes today for several reasons. First of all, many of you know who my dad is, so we have a tendency to drift off topic, so I'll try to stay on topic. And also because I had to go after Howard and Liz, so I really feel humbled to be here with both of you and the other awardees. So I'm very appreciative to receive this award. Iowa State has really played a significant role in my family's life. My dad was a faculty member, my husband, faculty member, much of my degrees. Our oldest is now a student at Iowa State, so it really feels like family here in a lot of ways. So again, I'm very appreciative to receive this award and join the current and past recipients who I admire and respect, and many of whom helped shape my success in direct and indirect ways. It's really extraordinary and surreal to be recognized with the other awardees today. Dr. Patterson, wow, to be listed in the same program as Dr. Patterson. Dr. Roth, who's also played a significant role in my training and career and supporting me. Dr. Wagstrom and Hill, Dr. Cordray. It's great to see a new awardee as well. So, and I also thank Dr. Zong. I think I figured out now maybe who introduces you is also maybe who nominated you. So incredibly appreciative, and then for the rest of you that supported my nomination and all of you here today to celebrate with us. A special thanks to my family for their love and encouragement. My mom and dad are here, Matt, our girls, one of which could be here with us. I just want to thank you today and each and every day for supporting me and doing what I love to do. And I'm so fortunate to have had the world-class training in veterinary medicine and infectious disease research at the College of Vet Med here at Iowa State, and there is no better place than Ames, Iowa, to do what I do. My PhD advisor, Eileen Thacker, has to be acknowledged because she took a very green student and started me on this path. So many other faculty, I can't name them all. My DVM classmates who thought I was really crazy to do a concurrent PhD at the same time. My PhD lab mates who thought I was crazy to do a veterinary degree at the same time. It was a transformative time for me. And my mentors at the National Animal Disease Center, I didn't go far. I'm still here in Ames over at the USDA campus. Doctors Kelly Lager and Mark Curley, and the many others that led by example, encouraged, and advocated for me. To my colleagues, my technical animal care staff, and students and postdocs that have come through the lab, I often get to be the one on the stage, but it wouldn't be possible without the Flu Crew team, and so I am beyond grateful for them. So I am a Kentucky native. I'm the daughter of a mixed animal practitioner and swine veterinarian, and I resisted the call to veterinary medicine as a young adult because of the long hours and physical demands of the job that I saw my dad and his practice partners put in. I was going to be a medical doctor, a psychiatrist, a swine geneticist, and I could have done those things. But when I imagined the possibilities of being a veterinarian, doing infectious disease research, and then I did a rotation my 4th year at the CDC Influenza Division, I was hooked. So to the students and the early career scientists I get the good fortune to mentor, and our kids as well, my advice is to just keep trying new things and step through the door when a new opportunity will keep you excited to go to work. I still get excited. I love my job and the influenza community, merging animal health and public health, viral genetics, and swine medicine. It's almost like I knew what I was doing all those years ago when I started on this journey. Even my early aspirations to understand how people's brains work still comes in handy some days. So coming off the heels of COVID-19 and not so long after the 2009 H1N1 pandemic, the message couldn't be clearer that human health depends on veterinarians and animal health research, and I am a One Health poster child. So influenza biology and the impact on swine is my passion, and I feel so fortunate that my path led me to Iowa State, the College of Vet Med, and then to the USDA to work on influenza. And I'm so moved to be recognized by you, the college and the university. So thank you again for this incredible honor.
Congratulations, Dr. Baker. I failed. So Grooms failed once again. Sorry. I failed to recognize other Stang Award winners that are with us here today. So could we have previous winners of the Stang Award please stand to be recognized? I know they're here, so please stand. So thank you. As I was sitting there and listening to Amy talk, I'm like, dadgummit, Grooms, you did it again. So my apologies for not recognizing you all. So our second Stang Award winner will be presented by Dr. Kathy Miller. Dr. Kathy Miller is a member of our leadership team at the College of Veterinary Medicine, a professor and chair in the Department of Veterinary Microbiology and Preventive Medicine. So Kathy.
Thank you, Dr. Grooms. So in the process of preparing to receive this award, Dr. Roth was given a space to brag on himself, and he wrote down 5 words. Not possible, I am from Iowa. Now, if you know him, you know that this humble response is very typical of Dr. Roth. Luckily for you all, I'm from Missouri. And Missouri, as you all know, is the show me state. So I'm going to take this opportunity to show you just how truly easy it is to brag on Dr. Roth. Instead of listing off Dr. Roth's many recognition, accomplishments, and awards, many of which I hope you take a moment to look at in today's booklet, I would like to focus on the real impact that he has had on animal and human health. Under Dr. Roth's directorship, the Center for Food Security and Public Health and the Institute for International Cooperation in Animal Biologics have been educating animal health professionals and expanding the understanding of transboundary animal diseases and biologics worldwide for over 25 years. Dr. Roth and his team have worked tirelessly to develop and deliver innovative protocols that are used widely to keep our food supply and the many people who work to produce our food safe. Impressively, this has been accomplished almost entirely through acquisition of external grants and contracts from government agencies and foundations. Dr. Roth has also shared his extensive knowledge with political leaders to ensure that they are educated about the dangers of transboundary and other animal diseases, as well as the best practices to keep animals and their caretakers in the U.S. healthy. Perhaps most important of all, Dr. Roth is a relentless cheerleader for all of the young animal and public health professionals that he encounters. You've heard his name many times this morning already. Whether they are students, staff members, faculty, or his peers throughout the world, he has truly changed the world, and through his enthusiastic support and mentorship of all those that he has encountered, he will continue to change the world for many years to come. I would like to take this opportunity to personally thank Dr. Roth for all that he has done to boost my career. I know you've done it, even though you haven't bragged to me about it, and welcome him to come up and say a few words about receiving this very deserved award. Congratulations, Dr. Roth.
Thank you, Kathy, for the very generous introduction. I appreciate it. And I'm greatly honored to receive this Stang Award. Although I have to say I was hoping for the Outstanding Young Alumnus Award. But after hearing about Dr. Cordray, I decided I didn't measure up, so I'll give up on that one. So the Stang Award started in 1970. I looked up the list of previous recipients. And I've known most of the Stang awardees, and that's one of the reasons I'm so honored to receive this award. And I've had, I think, 3 or 4 classmates, class of 75, the famous class of 75, I should say, who've received this award also. And I'm especially honored to receive it in the same year that Dr. Patterson is recognized for receiving the award. And he's very well represented here, and we'll hear more about Dr. Patterson soon. He graduated 100 years ago, 1923, and I thought, wow, that's really a long time ago. That's 52 years before I graduated. And then I realized that the incoming class next fall will graduate 52 years after I graduated. It's no wonder I didn't get the Outstanding Young Alumnus Award. And that puts it in perspective. It really wasn't all that long ago when Dr. Patterson graduated. I have a lot of mentors who have received this award before, and a lot of mentors who are here, people that taught me, I worked with, former deans. I really appreciate all the great mentorship that I've received. So I have a lot of people to thank. As everything I've done has been a team effort. I want to start with thanking my wife, Jeannie. We started our Iowa State University adventure together in 1969, and she's been there with me the whole time, helping me to be successful, putting up with an awful lot, which I appreciate. She's been there through the good times and the better times, because they've all been good. It's just all been good the whole time. And I want to thank our kids. Yeah, good. There's the picture of our son's wedding in Ely, Minnesota, 2 years ago. It was 2020 when the wedding shrunk down because of COVID, just a family. So you can see our 3 children, David, Claire, and Emily, and 3 of our grandchildren, Harper, Abby, and Iris. Iris is the littlest one. What you don't see there is our newest grandchild, who's 9 months old, and his name is James. Nice name. Appreciate that. And my family's been my source of strength and inspiration, keeps me balanced and keeps me going. And I have a lot of people to thank for my career. My early years, I spent almost all of it doing immunology research. Had over 50 graduate students, had a tremendous group of support staff in the lab, and graduate students. And my advice to young faculty is get really good graduate students, because they can make you look really good. So that's a very important thing to do, and I'm very proud of the graduate students I had. Then the other more recent years, starting in 1988, we started building a center. And the center has evolved now into the Center for Food Security and Public Health, which was established in 2002 after the 9/11 and the anthrax attack to work on preparedness for accidental or intentional introduction of diseases that threaten or public health. And I see a whole table full of my center mates back there. Would you stand up? That's in order. Probably the only order I've ever given them. So, and you can see the current staff we have there. We have 12 veterinarians, 2 administrative staff, graphic designers, IT people, all supporting the center, all supported by grants. And they work with me. None of them work for me. Everybody works very hard together. And you need to choose excellent colleagues, too, not just graduate students. Problem is, you don't often know if they're going to be excellent until you've worked with them for a few months. So my other advice to young faculty is be lucky. I've been lucky, and it really helps. And I'll close by saying that ISU and Ames are the best place in the world to pursue a career in animal health. We have the outstanding College of Veterinary Medicine, especially for food-producing animals, but also for companion animals, the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, and the USDA National Centers for Animal Health, which is the premier center in the U.S. and really the world for livestock research, evaluation of vaccines, all veterinary vaccines, and diagnostics. So we're really fortunate here in Ames. And we're surrounded by the best farmland in the world, which enables Iowa to lead the nation in producing high-quality crops and livestock to feed the world. Another reason why this is a great place to be in animal health. Thank you.
Very good. All right. We're just about done, but not quite, because it is with great humbleness that I have the honor to introduce our next Stang Award recipient. Inspired by his mentor, Dr. Edward Evans, who was a 1917 graduate of the Iowa State College of Veterinary Medicine, and driven by his love of animals and science, a young man by the name of Frederick Douglass Patterson enrolled in the Iowa State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. At the time, there were 10 public colleges of veterinary medicine in the United States, and only a handful accepted black students. Dr. Patterson became the 4th black graduate of our College of Veterinary Medicine in 1923, 100 years ago. After his veterinary degree, Dr. Patterson pursued a master's degree in microbiology from our college, and then went on to get a PhD from Cornell University. In 1928, Dr. Patterson was appointed by his mentor, once again, Dr. Evans, to be the head of veterinary division at Tuskegee Institute, now known as Tuskegee University. Then, at the young age of 34, Dr. Patterson became the 3rd president of Tuskegee Institute. During his presidency, Dr. Patterson started the College of Veterinary Medicine at Tuskegee University. He started the College of Engineering, and he also started the Aeronautical Sciences program there, which was the foundation of the Tuskegee Airmen. Understanding the need for financial support of black students to attend college, Dr. Patterson was the founder of the United Negro College Fund, as you all know, an organization that has raised over. Diane Dale shared a book with me about the village that Dr. Patterson and other members of his family grew up in outside of Washington, D.C. Most importantly and most impactfully over the last probably 6 months, I've had the wonderful opportunity to visit with several members of Dr. Patterson's family, many of them who are here today, and some who are visiting with us or joining with us online. As I've come to learn more about Dr. Patterson, it has become increasingly evident to me that this was a very special man, a tremendous man who, despite the color of his skin, and during a time when the color made it very difficult to do things, he got things done. He has and continues to make a difference in the lives of people across this great country. I think the inscription that was on the Presidential Medal of Freedom that Dr. Patterson received sums it up, and I quote, "By his inspiring example of personal excellence and unselfish dedication, he has taught the nation that, in the land of freedom, no mind should go to waste." At this time, I'd like to recognize members of the Patterson family who have joined us this weekend and who lovingly refer to him as Uncle Fred. So first, I'd like to introduce his niece, Patricia Brown, and her husband, Charles, from Williamston, Virginia. So if you just want to raise your hand. And their oldest, or their children, I should say, Heather and Christopher Brown. There they are. Also joining Chris is his wife, Ella Peterson, and her sisters, Kathy Peterson and Marilyn McAllister, who reside in Newton, Iowa. So, right. Next is Uncle Fred's great-nephew, John Dale, who's right here in the front, and his sister, Diane. Diane. Both reside in the Washington, D.C. area. Also joining us is Uncle Fred's great-niece from Kansas City, Mildred Edwards. Mildred, there you are, and her daughter, Leah Davis. And finally, Craig Patterson, who hails from Richmond, Virginia. Craig. And again, if we are live online, I just want to give a big thank you, thumbs up, thank you very much. Just a big shout out to other members of the Patterson family who I've had the opportunity to visit with over the past 6 months who were not able to make it to Ames, and especially to Adrian Dale and Mark Dale, who I interacted with very early on, and they helped me make connections to many members of the family. So please join me in welcoming all of them here to Ames and to Iowa State. At this time, I'd like to invite 3 members of the Patterson family, so Heather, Chris, and Craig. They've agreed to come up and just share some words about Uncle Fred.
Thank you so much for having us here. It's such a wonderful time to be with you, and we thank you for including us in your honoring of Uncle Fred, which is exactly how we knew him. And thank you, Dr. Grooms. This has just been such a wonderful opportunity for us. Thank you for welcoming us. I don't know if Lisa is here, but she's a trooper. Y'all should thank her. She's awesome. And also Dave. I don't know where he is. Dave, thank you. Thank you. And also Brad, thank you for the tour this morning. So Dr. Grimm said we've traveled from all over to be here with you today, really honoring our uncle and the legacy that he left for I don't know what that is. That's probably Uncle Fred. But I really, as much of a legacy that he left for the world, he also left a legacy for our family, and was for sure the standard bearer for that, for the Pattersons and for the Dales, and we're so privileged to have known him and to have been influenced by him. I will say my parents made a big deal. I don't know that we recognized that he was so fabulous until the invitation from the White House came. And then we thought, oh, okay, yeah, Uncle Fred. there's something here. But he was really a wonderful example for us all and a wonderful human being. So I'm gonna just ask Chris to talk a little bit, and also Craig. Thank you.
My sister is a much more experienced public speaker, so she doesn't need notes, but I do. So good afternoon. I'm Christopher Patterson Brown. Uncle Fred, Frederick Douglass Patterson, was my grandfather's little brother, John Ross Patterson's little brother. My grandfather passed away when my mother was about 8 years old, so I never knew him, but Uncle Fred kind of filled that patriarchal role for us as we were growing up. We'd frequently, pretty much every year, go up to visit them in New Rochelle, New York, and I loved those visits for two very specific reasons. First, we'd always go to this Chinese restaurant that was in his neighborhood, which was the coolest thing because he went there so frequently that we'd always be able to enter through the kitchen. So I thought it was like, really a big deal when we'd come sliding in there and go in and have our meals. But then the second thing that really stuck with me is that you'd go into his study and I'd just wander around and check out all the things he had there. And he had photographs of himself with every president from FDR through Reagan. So, just wander around looking at all of his different mementos and everything. And yeah, I'm a history teacher now, and I feel like probably that's where I started to really become fascinated with history as I was a kid, just wandering around his house. So that was something got off the notes, sorry. I'd like to thank Dean Grooms and Ms. Sebring for everything, for helping us, and everyone else that's been involved. We've been afforded a really wonderful welcome while we've been here, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Everybody's been bent over backwards to accommodate us. I heard about a tour, and my dad he's a lot, but we love him. Also, again, I haven't seen much of the campus because we had some travel issues, so I pretty much came straight from the airport here. Didn't sleep at all last night, but gonna power through. It's truly a great honor that I was voluntold by my mother to accept the Stang Award on behalf of Uncle Fred. As you can imagine, this isn't the first time I've been to an award ceremony for him. The last one I went to, though, was in 1988 when he received a medal from the NAACP. At that time, I was 18 years old and pretty callow youth that was mostly trying to figure out how I could take advantage of the open bar without them finding out. But, I feel very privileged to be up here today. When Uncle Fred, Dean Groom, stole some of my best material, went to the White House to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. My mom went because Aunt Kitty at the time, his wife, didn't really travel anymore. She was blind and just she didn't travel, so he had a +1, and so my mom got to be the +1. So that was I know that's one of her most cherished memories of him. So we fast forward to 35 years later, and I find myself having another opportunity to celebrate his legacy, and it really warms my heart that all these years later, you guys are still appreciating who he was and the legacy that he created in the world. So thank you for that. In closing, again, I'd like to thank you all for your hospitality. We've been having a wonderful time. Again, I haven't slept, but, and I'm really great fun, but I live in California now, and I don't have any idea what to do with all this rain, so thank you very much, and have a great day.
Wow. Thank you guys for coming out for this award ceremony. Yes, Uncle Fred, or Dr. Pat, as he was known to most of his colleagues, he was our great uncle. I was the youngest out of everybody here. When he passed in '88, I was only 12 years old. But the impact it had on the family is still lasting to this day. My father worked directly for him at one point in fundraising and everything like that, and he learned so much from him. He would always quote him, say things like, well, Dr. Pat would say this, or Dr. Pat would have done this. And one of those things was, before you can raise $1, you must raise a friend. And that was something he used to live by. You have to have friends. Another quote that stuck with me, maybe not, he didn't make it up, I don't think, but it sticks with me, was if you see a turtle on a fence post, he probably didn't get there by himself. And I think about Ms. Waxman, Dr. Hill, everybody's connected in here, friends, some kind of way, helping each other. And that to me is the real legacy. It's maybe not his own, but it's everybody's. And that's what the United Negro College Fund was about, helping more people go to school. He understood education was the key. And if you look around today, almost every negative category stat in this country goes back to education, whether it's crime, uneducation. People didn't have education. Poverty, poor health. It almost always goes back to education. So again, going back to what you said, and my father told me the same thing, that he used the same methodology he learned here to solve other problems. And that was something that really stuck with me, that my father would tell me. Never knowing one day I might come here and even see Iowa State or be talking to everybody like this, but that stuck with me, that you can use those same methodologies in everything you do and solve today's problems. And just going back to that quote, I'll close with that quote again, with the turtle on the fence post. You look around, I'm listening to everybody's stories, and I'm thinking about Dr. Aubrey and Dr. I think Tracy that nominated you. Everybody's helping each other lift everybody up, and that's what it's really all about. So say that in closing, lift somebody up, pay it forward, all right? Name of Dr. Pat. Thank you.
Folks, it doesn't get any better than that. Again, a round of applause for the Patterson family. Thank you. So one final thing that I just want to share with you. As you know, we're celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Patterson really throughout this entire year with lots of events going on, lots of things. One of the things that we are doing is we have established an endowment in his name to support programming at the College of Veterinary Medicine to support diversity, equity, inclusion. At the beginning of the year, at the beginning of this academic year, we set a goal of $1 million for that endowment. I'd like to share with you, as we stand here today, or at least yesterday when I talked with Stephen Hatting, we're at $575,000, so we're well over halfway there. And there are many people in this room that have helped to support getting to where we are today. And I know with the support of our proud alumni, our stakeholders, and other folks that recognize the impact that Dr. Patterson has had on the world, that we're going to blow by that $1 million goal, Stephen, aren't we? We are. So again, another round of applause for all of our award winners today. So with that, Tracy has kindly, I say very kindly, told me that we're way behind, which is okay. They're not going to start without us. I want to bring this event to a close. I would like to remind the award winners that we need to be across the street at the Stevens Auditorium in 4 minutes. They won't start without us, I guarantee it. And again, thank you so much for everybody coming today and making this a very special event today. And finally, Go Cyclones. Thanks, everybody.